Well, I think more and more people are starting to see through the narrative that people in the mainstream media and in the Democrat Party continue to push. As a matter of fact, I think we saw that highlighted the last 2 days here at the National Convention, seeing the different speakers that have come out that have worked with President Trump. I mean, if President Trump was such a racist, why would someone like Dr. Ben Carson, who is a man from very much humble beginnings and living the American dream, why on earth would he want to be associated with President Trump? It would make zero sense. So that narrative, in my opinion, completely falls flat. And as a matter of fact, under President Trump, more African Americans, more Hispanics, more Asians, more, everyone across the board were working under President Trump's administration than ever before. The lowest unemployment rate in history. President Trump pushed for, initiatives like Opportunity Now and investing into economic opportunity zones that allowed these communities who, yes, we have struggled with in the past, but now we're making up for it by getting into the community and building relationships. So they're starting to flock over and really work together on re-electing President Trump.
So as I say, Hilario, it is Donald Trump's party, and I'm guessing you're very, very happy about that.
Of course. President Trump really helped create and spearhead a true movement of the grassroots. Everyday Americans who have maybe not been involved for years now coming in, and he actually brought in a whole new generation of people, including myself, into the movement. And so it's a great honor to be able to have the Republican National Convention here in my backyard, and being chairman, being able to welcome thousands of delegates from across the country, from the 50 states and the 6 territories. This is a once in a lifetime experience.
I mean, best wishes to you on that. I mean, you are a young man, as you say. You are a Republican. You're a devoted follower of Donald Trump. You are of Latino background.
Yes, I am.
And you're now, look here, at the top of the party in this very Democrat county. It contains a very Democrat city. Most people in your county will never be Republican, let alone Trump followers. Hilario, do you feel as if you're here in hostile territory?
Well, I mean, Milwaukee has been a Democrat city for over 100 years. The last Republican mayor was actually in 1906. So, of course, one might say we are behind enemy lines, but I don't want to look at them as the enemy. I just look at them as, my fellow citizens who have a different way of looking at things within the world. And I think sometimes they're wrong, and I think there's sometimes that we can agree, find some common ground on certain things if we really sit down and talk things out. But here in Milwaukee, for Republicans, in order to win back Wisconsin, what we have to do, it's the lose by less mentality.
Yeah.
People don't like when I say that, but we have to be honest with people.
Yeah.
It's called increasing our voter percentage, even by a couple points. That means reaching out and building a coalition of common sense, disaffected liberals, independents, libertarians, and Republicans, and getting them together and saying, like, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? You get them going out to the, polling locations, get them to vote early. That is the true way that we can actually win back the state of Wisconsin. And under President Trump's leadership and his policies, I think people are going to really look at a return to those policies, because I think people are hurting right now. That's exactly what I'm hearing.
It's not just about how many people say they support your party. It's about getting them down to vote, and getting the votes out could be what this election turns on in the end. But when it comes to this areas like the city of Milwaukee, let me ask you a bit about some of those groups that the Republican Party has struggled in the past to reach. I'm thinking of African American voters. Now, some Black Americans do support Donald Trump. I mean, I've met some of them, obviously here in the convention, or you'd expect that, but around and outside in the city too. Donald Trump, better than me, he's so strongly depicted by his critics as being a racist, and he simply can't shake that accusation, can he?
Well, I think more and more people are starting to see through the narrative that people in the mainstream media and in the Democrat Party continue to push. As a matter of fact, I think we saw that highlighted the last 2 days here at the National Convention, seeing the different speakers that have come out that have worked with President Trump. I mean, if President Trump was such a racist, why would someone like Dr. Ben Carson, who is a man from very much humble beginnings and living the American dream, why on earth would he want to be associated with President Trump? It would make zero sense. So that narrative, in my opinion, completely falls flat. And as a matter of fact, under President Trump, more African Americans, more Hispanics, more Asians, more, everyone across the board. We're working under President Trump's administration than ever before. The lowest unemployment rate in history. President Trump pushed for, initiatives like Opportunity Now and investing into economic opportunity zones that allowed these communities who, yes, we have struggled with in the past, but now we're making up for it by getting into the community and building relationships. So they're starting to flock over and really work together on re-electing President Trump.
Just yesterday, I was watching Joe Biden making a fresh offer to Black American voters, saying he'll do more for Black Americans if he's given a second term. I hear what you say. I know more Black Americans are swinging round behind the Republicans than was the case before. But just imagine, you're out campaigning, and I'm a Black American voter in Milwaukee. I am Black, but I'm not a Milwaukeean. And I say to you, look, the former president is racist. I remember him saying so recently that he wants immigrants to come to America, to this country, from nice countries. Remember that? Yeah. And by that, he mentioned Norway, and he meant white Europeans. And that sounded pretty racist to me if I'm this hypothetical voter. What do you say to me?
Well, I've seen plenty of occasions where President Trump says that he wants legal immigration from across the world. And
but he did say that. He did say what I just quoted.
Yeah, of course. I mean, but there are other countries that do have plenty of problems. We ourselves as a country have plenty of problems. But President Trump has always, reached out to other countries. Tried to work with them on global tensions going on, of course, and things. It seems that things across the world under President Trump's leadership were a lot better. But he wants anyone and everyone that is going to come here and have the best interest for our country. He wants them to come here and become citizens. Legal immigration is the key. Right now we're having a major crisis at our southern border, the opioid epidemic that's going on, the human trafficking problem that's going on. It's not just affecting our country, it's affecting the world.
Okay. He's also after, for very good electoral reasons, he's after the blue-collar vote. That's part of the appeal, meant to be part of the appeal of J.D. Vance, who's a sort of a poor boy, the hillbilly elegy. That was his story of rags to riches, and it's sold like hot cakes. He wants those blue-collar votes because that's the thing which in the end could get him over the line.
100%. And actually, I think it was very encouraging. And what I heard from a lot of Republicans on the first night was when we saw the president of the Teamsters actually come out and speak. He had some very powerful words, and people were very much impressed. I think, I'm meeting tons of union members who are wanting to, rally behind President Trump because of his policies. Again, it made their jobs a lot easier. It made their lives a lot easier. Everything wasn't as expensive. Inflation was in check. The people were not having to work more than 2 jobs just to put food on the table. And people are just trying to make sure that, and that's the other thing that we see with, why there's so many people that are apathetic voters. They feel like their vote doesn't count. They feel like, why should I get involved? Everything's corrupt. And they feel like, I think now, especially after the horrific events on Saturday, and thank God President Trump survived, and it is heartbreaking that there was a rally goer who was unfortunately killed, and then those who were injured. My thoughts and prayers go out to those families, and I wish the injured have a speedy recovery. But I think we see that shift. Now we're starting to see more of a push towards unity. What I'm hearing from people...
Well, that's unity on Republican terms, Donald Trump's terms.
Well, I think that there's, even, you saw President Biden and President Trump actually talked on the phone.
Yes.
That is lowering the tensions. I think we're going to see a very different President Trump.
And curiously, J.D. Vance was also on the phone to Kamala Harris. I don't know what that adds up to, but it's what happened. Hilario, good to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining me on the show.
Thank you so much for coming to Milwaukee.
Let's talk again before too long.